We're finally checking out the new Galaxy Tab S10 FE. I also got the Plus version here as well, so that might be my next video. Unfortunately, they actually raised the price by $50 since the S9 FE, starting at $499. If you trade in the older S9 FE, Samsung will give you $300 off, so not horrible, I guess. Now to me, probably the biggest upgrade this year is you now get 7 years of software updates, just like the regular Tab S10 tablets, which is kind of crazy for a mid-range device like this. It's definitely nice to see that many years of software support making it over to other Samsung tablets. You've got 128 or 256 gigabytes for storage options, 3 different color options. Of course, I had to go with blue. Also takes a micro SD card up to 2 terabytes, and then it starts with 8 gigabytes of RAM now instead of 6, or 12 gigabytes of RAM depending on which storage option you go with. Okay, sort of what I expected. Just enough blue on it so that you see it, but still pretty subtle. Looks like the same location for the power and volume buttons. Okay, looks like they changed the speaker style there on the sides. I gotta say, you can definitely feel this is a little lighter and thinner. You can see there's slight differences here on the back versus the S9 FE. Apparently the sound is no more by AKG. Slightly different style for the rear-facing camera. Other than that, pretty similar. Looks like everything else is in the same location. Might even be able to use the same accessories. Pretty similar welcome screen to their other One UI 7 Android 15 devices. When setting up, you've got face unlock, fingerprint, pattern, pin, and password. I kind of wish the fingerprint scanner was on the front of the screen. I guess it's still better than no fingerprint scanner though. And then of course you have the Gemini Assistant. You also still have Bixby on here if you hold down on the power button, or obviously you can switch it over to the power off menu. You've got light or dark mode on here. You're also going to get things like circle to search and other AI stuff that you would expect from Samsung devices. Okay, nice wallpaper on there. The display on here is a 10.9 inch IPS LCD display at 1440 by 2304 resolution. It's also IP68, dust and water resistant. I think the screen quality on here looks pretty good in person. Probably not much different than the S9 FE. I think for a mid-range device, it's got good contrast. Colors are nice and vibrant. Overall, I think most people will be satisfied with the screen quality on here. I think they might have improved how fast the fingerprint scanner works now. You also have motion smoothness, where you can decide between adaptive at 90 Hz or standard 60 Hz refresh rate. If you swipe anywhere on the screen, you're going to get notifications, your quick settings, or control panels over in the corner. Keep in mind you can change that in the settings if you just prefer to swipe down anywhere on the screen for everything. Nice thing is you can switch back and forth pretty easily. I think you can customize things quite a bit more now in the quick settings as well. You've got most of your typical stuff in there, including Samsung DeX. And of course they have their new style of floating windows, but you can also go into the settings to choose the classic view if you prefer the older style. Which for me personally, I prefer the classic style. Looks like you still have Samsung Free or Google Discover left of the home screen. Surprisingly, they're not putting a lot of pre-installed apps on here. You've got a handful from Samsung, Google, a few from Microsoft. Looks like you also have LumaFusion, GoodNotes, Clip Studio, and then some of your popular ones like Netflix. Over here on the Edge panel, you've got AI Select, Auto Trim, Custom Filters, Object Eraser, Read Aloud, if you're signed into your Samsung account, which I don't think I am right now. You also still have the taskbar down at the bottom. If you're using 3-button navigation, you can still attach the S Pen on the back or on the side. Good thing is you don't need to charge this one. I know it's going to be personal preference, but I always like how the S Pen is included. I probably prefer the S Pen over the Apple Pencil, but it's just a good way to draw, take notes, or just move around the software. If you're wondering whether they added video out on this tablet so you could use an HDMI adapter, unfortunately no. Apparently they didn't think you needed that, or maybe that's just another reason for you to upgrade to their higher end tablets. I'm not really sure why they don't add that, considering the cheapest iPad has that. As far as the processor goes, it's still an Exynos processor. This time it's the 1580 instead of 1380. I think most people expected an increase in performance on single and multi-core scores compared to the S9 FE, but I'm not sure if most people expected more than double the GPU performance, so that's definitely nice to see. Now, graphics and frame rates while playing games aren't going to be the best out there, but I feel like performance is still pretty good. I know when playing PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite, things were fairly smooth on there. It's just the graphics are a little bit lower than on some of the higher end tablets. Overall, I think most people will enjoy playing games on here, especially comparing this to the Plus version. I think it's a little easier to reach things on the screen on this one with this smaller size. I also ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and it lasted about the same as the previous Tab S9 FE, around 7 hours, so pretty good or above average compared to other tablets that I've tested. Keep in mind there's a lot of variables when it comes to battery life, but it should be plenty to last a couple days with the mixed use, even longer once you turn the screen brightness down. You also have the new charging animation down here at the bottom. I know the speakers are no longer tuned by AKG. They still sound plenty loud enough though, especially if you turn on Dolby Atmos. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. I'm kind of surprised they actually upgraded the rear-facing camera to 13 megapixels instead of 8, so that's good to see. Still a 12 megapixel ultra-wide on the front. In the camera app, you've got portrait, photo, video. Under more, you've got Pro video, night, food, panorama, hyperlapse, single take. You can also shoot up to 4K resolution, 30 frames per second for video recording. I actually thought the cameras on the S9 FE were pretty good. I'll have to do a closer comparison, but from what I've seen so far, I think it might be even better on this one now, since it's got a little higher resolution. But here's a few quick samples of photo and video, just to give you an idea of what to expect from the Tab S10 FE. To me, photo and video quality appear to be a little bit better on this compared to some of the other tablets I've tested in this category. It's also nice that you've got 4K resolution for video on the front and rear facing cameras. I know with the iPad 11, you only get 4K on the back. To me, I feel like this is a solid upgrade, even though it's pretty minimal compared to the previous Tab S9 FE. But I'll definitely be doing some comparisons with this and some of the other tablets that I have here soon, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.